You're tired. Maybe you don't even know why, but you feel it like an invisible weight you've been carrying for years. The constant pressure to keep things in balance, to please, to avoid conflict, to be kind, understanding, polite. You were taught that being good was the right thing, that the good win in the end, that if you're honest, fair, and humble, the world will recognize it. But what if that's a lie? A comfortable lie designed to keep you obedient, predictable, controllable. How many times have you stayed silent just to keep the peace? How many times have you erased yourself to avoid disappointing someone? How many times have you been disrespected, used, ignored, and still smiled and said, "It's all good"? You've swallowed your tears, your anger, your pride, all in the name of virtue that only made you invisible. Listen closely. The world doesn't reward nice people. It rewards the strategic. If you're here, it's because you already felt it. You've tried to be the good one. And what did it get you? Disrespect, demands, exhaustion. You give more, they value you less. You try harder, they push further. And that's where Machiavelli comes in. Not the devil people say he was, but a man who told the truth about power. He understood something most refused to face. Morality, when disconnected from reality, is a trap. Being good isn't the same as being effective. Being kind doesn't mean being respected. This isn't about becoming cruel. It's about waking up, about seeing the game for what it is, and finally learning how to play. So let's be clear. Do you still think the world values good people? Look around. Who leads? Who commands space? Who earns respect? Not the most generous, but the most strategic. The ones who are hardest to manipulate. The world is ruled not by kindness, but by utility. And Machiavelli knew this. He didn't write The Prince to teach cruelty. He wrote it to expose the mechanics of survival. Here's the hard truth. Being good is not enough. Often, it's the quickest way to be discarded. You can give your loyalty, time, and love. But the moment you're no longer useful, you'll be replaced. Without guilt, without hesitation. Because your worth isn't measured by your goodness. It's measured by what you deliver, by the impact you have. And if your kindness makes you invisible, you're not being noble. You're being used. Nice people explain themselves, justify themselves, beg to be seen. But those who set boundaries, who say no, who show strength, they are respected. Because blind kindness is weakness. If you never confront, you never threaten. And if you never threaten, no one takes you seriously. You become a tool, not a person. A resource, not a presence. Machiavelli said, "It is better to be feared than loved." If you cannot be both. Why? Because fear protects. Fear demands respect. Fear creates boundaries love often dissolves. He didn't mean cruelty. He meant power. The power to act. The power to say, "I will not be trampled." The power to walk away. And if you keep living to be liked, you will keep being ignored. Not because you're not valuable, but because you've made yourself easy to discard. Now let's go deeper. Because behind all this kindness, there's something else. A fear, a wound. You weren't born trying to please everyone. You were trained, conditioned, taught that love was something you earned by disappearing, by staying small, by not bothering anyone. Be nice. Don't argue. Don't be selfish. So you molded yourself into what others wanted. You called it empathy, but it was fear. Fear of being rejected. Fear of not being loved. Fear of being seen. And this fear turned you into someone who lives behind a mask. A smile that hides your exhaustion. A silence that hides your truth. And here's the tragedy. You thought this made you good, but it only made you invisible. That mask, it's suffocating you. And one day you'll look in the mirror and realize you don't know who you are anymore, but there's a way back. And Machiavelli can help. He taught that it's not the good who win, it's the effective. People don't respond to your intention. They respond to your impact. You can have the purest heart in the world, but if you seem weak, you'll be treated as weak. Machiavelli said, "Everyone sees what you appear to be, but few feel what you are." So if you want respect, learn to shape your image. Appear virtuous when it's useful. Be strategic when it's necessary. Be a fox to detect traps. Be a lion to make predators hesitate. This isn't about cruelty. It's about survival. Real virtue is courage, intelligence, self-control. Sometimes appearing cruel is the only way to protect your peace. Because if you act like a good man in a world full of predators, you will be devoured. This doesn't mean giving up your values. It means not letting them be used against you. Stop letting morality become your leash. Start using it as your armor. Because if your idea of being good means accepting crumbs, swallowing injustice, and blaming yourself for feeling anger, you're not being good. You're being dominated. You can be kind and still be feared, compassionate and still command space. You can give, but no longer beg to be seen. Here's how. Start saying no. A calm, clear no is power. It tells the world, I have limits. Notice who gets angry when you set boundaries. That's who benefited from your silence. Stop explaining yourself. Not everyone deserves your story. Replace the need to be accepted with the will to be authentic, even if it makes others uncomfortable. Understand that being feared doesn't mean being hated. It means being respected. Machiavelli didn't want you to be evil. He wanted you to stop being naive. And the greatest naivety is believing that goodness alone is enough to win in this world. It's not. So now the choice is yours. Do you want to be loved? Or do you want to be free?